Okay. Looks like at least we do have a little bit of few more people. All right. To those that maybe they're late, they're gonna catch us on our way. We don't wanna, waste more time today so that we can be able to talk a little bit more, to have more in terms of conversation. So as you all know, I don't know if you know, my name is Yusuf. I work here at Globex 360 as a portfolio manager. I do make sure that, when you have a problem with your account, you can communicate with me. We can talk, we can talk about instrument, we can talk about pairs. My main point is actually, to help the clients to actually understand the whole industry. Because if we don't know about the whole market or the whole industry, it's becoming a problem to us. The reason why it become a problem, people, they can come and scam us, without us having a knowledge. Easily, they can take our money and, frame themselves as people who know. So I don't have masters and masters in trading. I'm learning in progress, but whatever I learn, I do like to share with, with the people that are actually manage their account. So welcome. Welcome. If it is the first time, welcome. I do this each and every single Friday. I do create a new content, a new presentation every Friday. Choose the topic and see how we're gonna, engage with the clients. Now, if you cannot hear me, please let me know immediately, or you can text on the chats, or if you have a question, please unmute your mic and actually, ask the question, or you can type on a chat, right? All the videos that are actually, that we make on this presentation, I do send them on YouTube. The YouTube channel is called the Daily Money Market. So if you go on the YouTube and search the Daily Money Market, you'll be able to see all the videos, the presentation from last year up to date, Yeah, so I do appreciate for you guys logging in. So without wasting time, let's just go straight into it. What I wanted to talk about today, right? It's about the fundamental trading, right? We all focus on a technical trading, technical analysis, if we can say, or technical trading. But most of the people, they don't really consider the fundamental trading. But if you think about it, what we are doing, what we are trading the CFDs, right? The contracts of difference of the stocks. So we are trading the movement of the stock. But if you think about the stock, where does the stock come from and what is a stock? You realize the stocks, they are the companies, right? That are listed in a stock market. Now they become stocks, right? And now if you find out those companies, what are they doing? What they do, how they get affected, they all get affected by the fundamentals, right? So the whole economy is being driven by the fundamentals. So in that case, what I'm trying to say is that you can analyze on your chart. You can do whatever that you want to do on the chart and start making money. But when there will be a day that there's a news in a market, you can still lose, although you do believe that your analysis were perfect. Okay. I don't know what's happening, but you don't sound clearly. Let me see. Yeah. I mean, on my side, everything is fine. I don't know, maybe try to log out and log in again. Try to log out and log in again, but on my side, I think it's fine. Is there anyone else who can't hear me? All right, I think we're cool. So please just log out and try to rejoin again, so that we can see if everything is fine. Okay. Where are we? Okay, so just to move on, what is the fundamental trading? What exactly it is the fundamental trading, what we are saying? So the fundamentals provide a method to set the financial value of the company or security or the currencies, right? So in a fundamental trading, you can find it that set the value, the financial value of the companies or the security or the currencies. So we both know when we come to currencies, the currencies between, you know, one instrument from one country to another, right? That's what we call the currencies. So included in a fundamental analysis is the basic qualitative and quantitative information that contribute to the asset of financial or economic well-being. It's called macroeconomic fundamental, include the topics that affect an economic at large. So we're going to see the topic that affect an economic at large, and we're going to check it out also what exactly macroeconomic fundamentals are, right? But the basic point here that you should take is that fundamental provide a method to set the financial value of the company. So it gives you the direction, the eye to set it up, to set the financial value of a certain specific company or certain specific currencies. All right. If you have any question, please don't forget, unmute your mic or type on a chat and ask immediately. We are cruising today. All right. So let's take a look at the key point of this fundamental trading. The fundamentals provide a method to set the financial value of the company, security, or currencies, which is we already spoke about. That's one of the key points. It includes in a fundamental analysis is the basic, you know, quantity. I think this point or so we already go in. A macroeconomic fundamental includes topic that affects an economy at large. So we one of the keys as well there, it's a macroeconomic fundamentals that actually has the news that affects the economy at large. So microeconomic, it's actually an event that happened, but that event, it actually affects an economic at large. So it affected the whole economy of entire world, right? Those are macro. So there's microeconomic fundamental focus on activities within a small segment of economy. So it actually focuses on a specific economy. In agriculture, it will focus on only agriculture. And in manufacturing, it will actually focus only in manufacturing. In technology, the news will only focusing on only technology. So that's actually, we call it the macro fundamental focus. So for businesses, information such as profitability, revenues, assets, liabilities, and the growth potential are considered the fundamental, right? So if we are in a business, the fundamental business, we're gonna say the information such as the revenues of that specific company, the assets of that specific company, the liability of that specific company, the growth of that specific company, that what is being considered the fundamental. So I'm going to give you the example. Let's give it an example as Sanlam. Sanlam is one of the biggest company here in South Africa. It's actually registered in a what do you call in a stock exchange, in Johannesburg Stock Exchange. It's being traded in the Johannesburg Stock Exchange. So here comes 2019, 2020, boom, COVID-19 happened, right? Most of people are sitting at home, people are dying, now those companies like Sanlam, they have to actually pay, the policies of people that are actually take the policy from the Sanlam or other, policy companies. What happened in their to their revenue? The revenue now will start dropping because there's a lot of money that are actually taking out from that company, to pay to people. What happened to the liability and the growth potential of the company? All of those, they will drop. Now, if those things are dropping based on something that happened in the whole country, what will happen in the stock market? The stock of Sanlam will now start losing the momentum, losing the price, losing the money. The more the stock is losing the money, that's where you and me, we go and sell that product, right? So if we are in a stock exchange, we're gonna sell the stock. Said, okay, the stock is losing the price. No, if you're in a stock exchange, when the stock is losing price, you buy the stock because you're buying it at cheaper. So you will be buying on that price. When you are buying it, whenever it's gaining the momentum, you sell your stocks, you made a profit. When you are in Forex, like what do we do? When the stock is losing the price, you sell the stock. Immediately when you sell, because we are only trading the movement of the stock based on the volume that you take. So if the movement moves a little bit faster or moves for over whatever, 2 months, 3 months, that means there's a lot of money that you are actually making at a particular time, at a particular moment. Any questions? Please don't forget, let me know immediately so that, we can cruise nice and easy to make sure everyone understands. Okay, so understanding the fundamental. As we said already, in business and economics, the fundamentals represent the primary characteristics of the financial data necessary to determine the stability and the health of the asset. So it's actually determine the stability and the health of the asset that you have at that specific company, right? If that asset is actually it's unhealthy, for example, it doesn't have that much momentum, it's losing momentum in a stock market, then that's our time where we jump in and we sell. Why we are teaching this? Because these are the stuff that actually drives the market. These are the stuff that drives the whole market. Whether you analyze with your analysis, drawing the lines and so on and so forth, but these, to understand this, if we have the knowledge of this specific, we should know that this is what actually drives the market. Most of the time, you make a good decisions when you are in a trading, in a Forex trading CFDs, or when you are buying stock in the stock market. So this data can include the macroeconomics or a large scale factors, and the microeconomics, the small scale factors to set the value of the security of the business. So what is the macroeconomics? The macroeconomics is the branch of economics that studies how an overall of economy, the markets or other system that operate the large scale, right? So yes, I got a question there. I got someone typed. I tried to rejoin the meeting, but it's still the same. It has to be, it really has to be your headphones or something, because everyone else can hear me properly. So it really has to be maybe, I don't know, your gadgets that you are using somewhere around there. Or if you're not using headphones, maybe get a headphone, earphones or headphones and try to put in and see if it's gonna be fine. All right. Now, so the macro, it's actually, talk the whole overall, studies the whole overall of economy, everything from every department, right? So if you do have the actually news release of the macro, you're gonna understand the different types of industry and what are they doing at the moment. That will make you to have a better choice when you get in the market to trade. Not just trade because of everyone is saying a NASDAQ. Let's trade NASDAQ. Everyone is running to NASDAQ. Let's trade gold. Everyone is said gold, gold, gold. But we don't really know what drives that NASDAQ to move that type of movement, to have that type of sort of like a huge movement in a market. So those are the fundamentals. Those are most important to understand. While the macroeconomics is the social science that studies the implications of incentive and the decision, specifically about how those affect the utilization and distribution of resources. So this macro, it studies, a small implication and incentive and the decisions, how the company is making in their decision, to move forward, right? This is based on, when the CEO, chief executive officer of one of the companies, they spoke about the future of the company, how they're laying, the plans and everything. That gives the mentality to investors to say that, okay, the CEO say 1, 2, 3. Mark Zuckerberg said 1, 2, 3 about the market. Definitely the market will go to this direction, right? So let me concentrate on this direction. So that's the reason why we have to, keep an eye on this type of news. But don't worry, I'm going to show you where you can get this news, where you can be up to date for everything that we are doing in the Forex market. As I said before, that my aim is not just to teach about Forex, but we should understand the whole global movement of the money, how it works, including, how can we invest in stocks. Some of you guys maybe have so much money that you can take it in a stock market and buy a certain stock somewhere, but you don't know because the information is not there. So whatever information I have, we'll be able to share. Moving on. So the main fundamental, let me just move this thing up. Yeah, good. So the main fundamental forces in Forex. So we need to know what are the main fundamental forces in a Forex market, which is the one that we trade, you and me, on a daily basis. The fundamental analysis, it's a way of looking at the market through the understanding of economic, social, and the politic forces that may cause in a market to react a certain way, according to those on a Wall Street, right? So based on the Wall Street, it's actually something, a news or a politics forces that may cause the market to react in a certain direction, right? The kind of analysis is usually used by those who have studied in this different field, says finance, accounting, economics, and the politics or commerce as a subject. So here's the thing thought that the big banks like a JP Morgan, Deutsche Bank, Bank of America, Bank of England, and the likes of all have $1 trillion in the market on a daily basis. And within ability to pump up markets, create a liquidity, may fundamental help justify this. So these are one of the biggest banks in the world that they do put a lot of billions in the market in a daily basis, right? So these are guys that actually, make sure that when the news they're out, they hold their money, they decide where they have to put their money. And once they put the money on those directions, now you see the volatility of that instrument start happening, start moving faster and faster and faster, or start moving slower and slower, or it goes against in your direction. So it's a key to understand if you were actually, a real hustler trader that you want to be the best, whenever there's a news, check all of these banks on the stock. We do have it on our Globex platform. There's a JP Morgan stock there. You can check the JP Morgan stock, how it reacts. If you see the JP Morgan, it doesn't have that much volatility, you must know that these guys, they haven't pumped in the money yet to specific industry or specific instrument, so that they can start now generating the profit out of that specific instrument. So yeah, check it out, the JP Morgan, the Dutch Bank, the Bank of America, the Bank of England. We do have all the stocks of these guys as well. So the impact of the fundamentals. The fundamentals affect the supply and the demand of the currency pairs. And that's where the national bank come into the play, because they print out the money to have growing and lucrative economy through buying and selling, as well as other effects, right? This is where the macro indicator coming from. The macro indicator gives a little edge for the technical traders too. In terms of the currencies, they may be trading and its overall direction. These indicators include, but are not limited. So to a labor markets, economic growth trades, housing data, events, even the events like a retail sales, those are events that actually, you know, being categorized on a macro indicator that actually affect the markets or the whole economy, which is affecting the stock market, which is affecting the Forex CFD market that you and me, we trade. So here, basically it's just talking about the fundamental actually affect the supply and the demand of the currency pair. So if Euro USD, if you are trading Euro USD, and in Europe, there's we're gonna use COVID-19 because one of the biggest news that is happening at the moment. If in Europe, they're actually locked down, there's a lockdown, you know, or people are not doing the business, companies are not open, manufacturing companies are not open at the moment. What will happen to the whole economy? The whole economy will start dropping because people are not generating money. They're not exchanging, you know, money to the product. They're not having supply and the demand on their currencies. What will happen to Euro USD? You find now the Euro is start losing the momentum in the markets, and you can trade that. You can now start making money with that. Are we together though?
Yes, we are.
Okay, all right, that's good. Thank you. All right.
Yes, bro, it's clear.
Okay, all right. Okay, so one of the events, it's called trade. It's called the trade event news. So these events mostly focus on actually a trade that is happening in the specific country, right? So for example, these countries import and export. So ideally, a country wants to export more than they import, because this then means that they can have more money coming into their country and the different currencies, which will allow them to actually circulate that money within their economy, allowing the government to make the country better for the tourists, which also would bring more money in and take less money out. So it's always important as the government itself, as the country itself, to actually attract a foreign currency in their country. Because when we attract the foreign currencies in our country, for example, if South Africa has so much, lots of dollars in our country, that means the rand that we have will be only using for domestic. The dollars that we have will be using to buy whatever specific thing that we need to buy from outside. Then we are not affecting our money. We're not affecting the pool of money that we have, you know, to take it and to do the exchange rate, which is the higher price, and buy whatever that we want to buy, you know, to whatever country it is. So that is why in a country, they always have this program of tourist attraction. You know, one of the biggest tourist attraction that I've been seeing recently, it's Rwanda. Rwanda, they actually have, you know, printed on a jersey of Arsenal team, football team in England to say, visit Rwanda. I mean, how much advertising that they are making on that, you know? People, they are going and visit Rwanda, they're leaving pounds there. Those pounds, Rwanda, and they're using the pounds to buy some of the products that they want to all over the world, right? Because the currencies, it's actually matching now. They can be able to buy in a dollar in the United States. They can be able to buy in a Russia. They can be able to buy stuff in a let's say maybe in Europe without any problem. So yeah, tourist attraction, it's one of the things that government actually use to attract money, to bring money in the country, to bring a foreign currency in the country. Think of it this way: your investment don't grow if you keep taking out of the money out of that investment pool. In this case, The country and its people are the investment. And if you keep taking money out of it, it won't develop, right? An example of this would be the China and the USA trade war. So recently there was a China and a trade war. I'm sure you know it. It was, I think, before Trump was out of the presidential seat. So that recently occurred due to imposed a higher tariff for exporting and import imposed by the President Trump. That affects the way of people traded gold and also traded USD and JPY pairs. If you pay close attention, you will realize around the same time, gold started rising up in a value because the demand was high and investors needed to find another asset to invest in their money. So they call gold, it's called the safe haven. Whenever United States dollar, they are losing power, they're losing momentum. The dollar is losing momentum. The investors always looking to buy gold, to keep their money in gold, because gold, it doesn't depreciate. Gold, it doesn't lose power. So that's why it's called gold, it's a safe haven. So this example, pretty much the story is there was a trade war between the United States and China. Donald Trump was there, head of the United States, talking with the president of China that didn't agree anything about the trade deals. Donald Trump started to raise the tariff. So in that case, it means when you're bringing product from China to United States, you need now to pay more money, for you to actually bring a product in the United States. The Chinese now realize they're not going to make a profit if they keep bringing the product in the United States while they're paying a lot. So they cut on that way to produce or to bring the product to United States. What happened to a dollar? The dollar started losing power because there's no more product that people can buy and sell and generate income. Now, what happened to investors? They moved from the buying dollar and started investing in gold. So this was the news, what was happening, last year. I think it was last year before Donald Trump leave the presidential office. Currently, while we're speaking, there's a big news that is happening. In fact, the dollar also is losing momentum. The gold, it's a safe haven currently while I'm speaking. There's a news about Russia and the Ukraine, and actually United States has jumped in. Right now, I think 30 minutes ago, there was a press conference by the Secretary General of the United States that talked about, the diplomatic people that are staying in Ukraine to come back, actually to come back in the United States. What does it mean? It actually tells us that there's a little bit of tension. A lot of things, they're not going to move from one country to another. So what does it do to a dollar? The dollar start losing the momentum, right? The dollar start losing power. All right. So that's one of the examples that we are having currently. Ladies and gentlemen, I do have 9 minutes left, but please, when it cuts after 9 minutes, rejoin again immediately so that we can finish up the second set that we have. So it's just the 9 minutes. In 9 minutes time, it will cut. Then you can rejoin again. We'll finish up only for just 15 minutes. We'll be done. If we can be done in 9 minutes, then that's good. All right. So one of the news also, it's a retail sales release. So a retail sales release, it released on the 13th of every single month. Every single month on the 13th, 8:30 Eastern time, European time, right? 8:30, there will be the news releasing about the retail industry. So they talk about how the retail industry is doing, the clothing industry. This retail industry is actually, emerge with the industrial industry, because the clothing part, industrials, they're the ones who produce the clothes, giving the retails the sales to us, to consumers, to us to buy and to wear our clothes. Same as food. It's agriculture that they produce the food, and then it goes to the retail market, and the retail market, they sell it to us. So the retail sales, it's one of the huge news that actually released on the 13th of every month. This spikes to the amount of money recalculating within the business that contribute a significant amount to the growth of the economy. the retail sector. The spending habits of the consumer are tracked through the CPI. It's called the Consumer Price Index. This is another news. So it's tracked by the Consumer Price Index, and without the figures of the retail stores, which affects the value of indices and attain the currency value of the country, of the country's currencies. The more the sales, the more money circulates from the business to the business in that economy, allowing business to grow, expanding the further contribution more than the economy and the people in the economy through the employment, if I may say. So it's the same explanation that if they're releasing the retail sales, report, it's all the way coming from the industry who produced the product. The money coming from the us buying the product, they take the money, they buy the product from the industrial guys. The industrial now they have money, employ more people to manufacturing the product. The retailer also have more money because of more people have been employed in the industrial. They are producing more product, giving to more to the retailers. The retailers they're selling to consumers more as well. So this is just a juncture of the retail sales news that it happens in every 13th of the month. So you can look at it on the 13th, check the news, look at the dollar, look at the dollar index, see the dollar index, how it's going, what it's doing at the moment, and then make a decision in terms of trade. Look at the indices of actually, it actually says it doesn't include the indices, right? Retail stores which affect the value of indices, right? So the indices on that day, you can skip the indices, put them aside. But as long as you are actually trading, you look at the currencies from country to country, you look at the dollar index, look at the pair that associate with the court as a dollar currency pair, then you start trading, you start making a decision where to do it. The following one is NFP. We all know the NFP, the non-farm payroll. It's actually, released in the first Friday of every month. Every single month, first Friday, there's an NFP. This is one of the biggest, economic news that being released in the United States. A lot of people, they actually make noise about the NFP. They trade NFP because there is a lot of volatility. You can make so much money with a one candlestick on this day. That's how it has so much volatility in the market. So this is called the non-farm payroll, which is the number of the jobs added in a different market in the USA. However, this employment factor affects all economics because the higher the unemployment rate, the worse the economy may be. Because this then means that the working class are the people who suffer most from the taxes from everyone else in society who may not be able to pay taxes, causing a downturn of employment. This leads me to a very recently example that is affecting the market in a daily, which is the loss of the millions of jobs due to the coronavirus, which is an aspect we don't have control over but within the losses in the jobs, a lot of debt repayment aren't going to be paid. So the millions of default causes the banks to take a knock progressively, translating once again to the currency of the country being devalued by the investors or traders analysis. So basically, the example is talking about the COVID-19, what happened to COVID-19. A lot of people, they lose jobs, especially in the United States, because it was too much in the United States. A lot of people, they lose money. They couldn't, they lose job. They couldn't get their job. Some they're working at home, some they being retrenched because the company, they cannot, make more money to pay people. But think about it. All those people, they have bond houses. Some people, they have cars that they need to pay. Some people, they have assets, that investment that they need to pay in a daily basis. And if they lose their income, their dignity income, what happened to those bonds? The bonds are not being paid. What happened to the banks? The banks now, they're losing money because they're the ones who pay the bond now the banks, they're losing money. Immediately when the banks, they start losing the money, what happened to the currency of that country in terms of the banking? They start devalue their currencies. The currency start losing power. So NFP is one of the major impact, whether there's COVID-19 or there's no COVID-19. We need to understand how much people are being employed in terms of percentage-wise. Of course, we can understand. I don't know. I see the hand there. Are you asking something? You can unmute if you want to ask anything. Is it Millicent or Agnes? Oh, Agnes. All right. Looks like we're good. Okay, cool. So that was about the juncture of NFP. Ladies and gentlemen, remember this date, the first Friday of every month. Make sure that you have something in your account, right? You trade after the news is being released. The news mostly released 2:30. So you wait for it until 2:30. Then you start executing a trade, or then you start again to trade. Don't trade before 2:30 because you don't know what exactly in terms of the stats are. You don't know if a lot of people have been employed at that month, or one sector doesn't have much people that are being employed on that month. So ladies and gentlemen, there's a 1 minute left. Please rejoin again so that we can finish up the second tab. So for this minute, let's look at the top 5 economic news release website. These are the website that you can go in it and actually understand and look at the news all the time, right? Not only on those specific dates, but you can go there so that you can have a clear mind about whatever is happening entire world. If you really want to be the trader who's going to be making money years and years, this is what we need to do. This is what moves the market. Economics moves the Forex market. No matter how much you can do your analysis on a chart, but the economics, that's the one that moves the market. How accurate is that NFP method of trading, sir? Well, remember, in order you to trade the NFP, you need to wait for the release first, right? And wait, because before the release, they'll give you the estimate. We're estimating